Give me the freaking ball, man.
We have okay. Welcome back to another episode of the ClearCut podcast.
I'm sorry if that clipped within your ears. I know it's going to be so overly compressed.
It's going to be super loud and annoying and moving on.
Welcome back. Episode
38.
Upper 30s.
38.
We're so close to having one episode per
we
week.
Can't put this on here.
Dang.
I don't have
we got to stop.
You got your hoodie. And now that we have that out of the way, our friend George has joined us. This is his 4th episode in a new jacket each time.
Yeah, I know. He likes to stay pretty quiet.
He faces the wrong way.
He's camera shy. He'll come out of his shell here eventually.
We have a men's league basketball game tonight, and that is probably the 8th text saying
yes
that someone can't make it. So it looks like we only got 5 players.
I read can. Darn it.
This past week was fun. It has been a busy 3 weekends in a row.
It sure has.
Here at the house of the Lord.
We had baptisms in the morning, and then we also had a baptism that night.
Yeah. That was super awesome. At our young adults ministry, we had a lady get baptized. That's the first time in our young adults ministry that we've really even considered or thought about having baptisms during our service. Usually it's just in the Sunday morning services.
Yep.
So that was super cool to see. She has, I'll let you finish. I don't know exactly what she might have, but it also relates to you. So if you just want to go into that.
It relates to me. That sounds really bad.
To your sister.
Yeah. So the lady, the young woman we got to baptize on Sunday night has Down syndrome. And in really any place in society, people with any kind of disability, any kind of handicap, they're usually disregarded, and people don't want anything to do with them. They feel neglected, and oftentimes, I know especially within like public schools or really in any school, those kids are bullied. And growing up, so I have a sister that is also special needs. My sister, she has a unique disability. She is the only one known in existence that has the disability that she has. I don't know exactly the problem, but I know that her chromosomes, some of the chromosomes, one of the ends are swapped.
Wasn't it named after her?
Yes. Well, there is no name necessarily, but it is the Morgan disease. She was studied by Yale University when I was crazy. Like 4 or 5.
How old is she compared to you?
So she is 4 years older than me. So when I was younger, whenever I began to have like cognitive thoughts, my sister had already gone through her early developmental problems with her disability. For the first 2 years of her life, she was in and out of hospitals and in full leg casts because her legs did not work properly. It was her legs and her hips, I believe. They just didn't work properly. And by the time that I had cognitive thoughts, I didn't think there was anything wrong with my sister. When we were younger and when she was younger, there really wasn't anything wrong with her. She could, get around relatively fine. But I mean, at that point in life, like I wasn't like running really fast or anything. It wasn't until she really entered like into her teenage years that you could clearly see, or that I could clearly see, that there was anything, like there was something wrong with her, that she did have a disability. I remember growing up, I was very mean. I'll be honest, I was one of my sister's main bullies when we were in my early teenage years, I'll say. And the way I thought about everything was she was different, and like she had something wrong with her. She was disabled. So anything that she liked to do, like to eat, I did not like to eat. I did not like to do, because I was normal and she wasn't. Looking back on that, of course, I know that I was just a terrible person. And I remember there'd be days where she'd be really upset and crying about getting bullied at school, and how she didn't want to be bullied at home. And I beat myself up a lot because of the way I treated her. And just for the fact that when we got older, I didn't necessarily stand up for her at all. Like, we rode the same bus coming home from school, and there were times on the bus where people would make fun of her, and I didn't do anything. My parents had told me when I was younger, though, I would stand up for her. And they told me there a couple times where, like, there would be older kids picking on Morgan, and I would stand up for her, and they thought I was going to get, like, pushed or hit. But I have a heart for the special needs community, and so I actually got to help with the baptism that we had at our young adults service on Sunday. So it touched my heart. This young woman got emotional before we baptized her, and like I said, that really touched my heart, because you have a lot of people that deal with disabilities that they don't necessarily have like good control of their emotions, or their emotions don't mean much because they're always like hyper emotional.
Right. You almost wonder, like, would these people, would this group
Mm-hmm.
of people even understand what they're doing?
Yeah.
But I think we'd both agree, after seeing, just her emotions after the baptism, and you know, just the look on her face, like you just felt 100% she knew, you know.
And she was so excited before I went up to her.
She was excited the whole night.
I know. I went up to her, I sat by her, and I said, "Summer, are you excited?" She just, yeah, yeah. And I talked to her for a little bit, and I could just tell she was so pumped for it. And I was excited for her, of course. Just like Grayson was saying, just the fact that she made that decision, that she could think to make that decision and know that she wanted to make that decision, and then also go through with it. I know a lot of people with disabilities, they'll have thoughts, and then they don't necessarily go through with it because their thoughts last like 10 seconds. But she wanted to go through with it, and she did. There was nothing in that moment that made her anxious, that scared her. That's something you always got to be cognizant of when you're dealing with people with disabilities. But there was nothing. She loved it. Her parents and her family were here to celebrate with her, as well as her spiritual family at our young adults ministry. And I couldn't have asked for a better first baptism.
Yeah. No, that was awesome.
Yep.
And I'm excited to see, what that leads to in the future, now that we've kind of opened that door in the young adults ministry, just to see, how many we end with, at the end of the year or whenever. It's super exciting. Another thing for me, I guess this week, also has to do with the young adults ministry. There's quite a few new people, but there was a group of 3 that came together, 2 brothers and then one of the brothers' girlfriends. They came in and sat down, and, I saw them, and I felt like the Lord was tugging on me to talk to them, or one of them, or all of them. I had no idea. But service was about to start, so I wasn't going to go up there and get into a conversation just to get cut off by the worship. I didn't want to go and just introduce myself. I felt like I was supposed to do more than that, so I just kind of waited. I saw Tyke say hi to them, so I was like, okay, at least somebody acknowledged, like, hey, they're new, and he said hello. So I was like, cool, I don't have to worry about it right now. I'll do it after service or something. And we had small groups that night, so we broke up into small groups, and usually all the boys are just together, all the girls are together, but we had so many people that me and Tyke took a group, and our 2 other guy leaders took a group. So there was 2 separate men's
male
I guess,
groups,
male,
and then there
men.
were 2 separate female groups as well.
And we kind of just all huddled, and I was just like, hey, whoever wants to come over here with us, come sit down. Most of it was our friends, and then like the last one to come over was one of the 3 out of the group, and I was just kind of said to myself, to the Lord, I was just like, okay, I guess that was the one. You know,
Yeah.
I was supposed to talk to or do something, and I had no idea what that was going to look like. We started our lesson, whatever. We kind of go off script, and Tyke just looks at me and says, "I think you should share something." And I was just like, I have a lot of somethings.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know exactly what you want me to share. And he said, just your testimony. So I gave a very, very, very quick background of just kind of starting in my high school years is when it started, kind of to where we are now.
Yeah.
You know, and most of the people in the whole group probably knew that whole story by now. And, you know, probably that one kid that I felt like I was supposed to talk to didn't. So, you know, the Lord worked through Tyke as well to, you know, be able to put me in that position to say some of those things. And maybe it resonated with him, maybe it didn't, you know, but it was an awesome feeling. You know, when those feelings come, they're super, super fun.
And that dude was really cool. I got to talk to him afterwards as well. And then I talked to his brother as well out in the lobby after we got done. And they were both really cool. His brother's got like a ton of tattoos on his arm.
Yeah.
And he's almost got a full sleeve. It was so awesome.
I was putting up like the camera stuff and like had complete handful and my backpack and all that stuff. Was walking to the meter and put stuff up, and his brother actually stopped and said, I don't know what he said. What do you do here? You know, like, or you the photo guy or something like that. And I was like, yeah, I handle CPCYA's Instagram, social media, and then I also handle Connection Point churches as a whole, their social media. And he was just saying, that's awesome, yeah. You know, it was kind of like in passing, but he asked me another question. I answered it, and I was just like, look, he asked me kind of like how did it happen, and I was just like, whew. That's a long, long story. I was like, your brother knows like a third of it. And I was just like, do you plan on coming back to this? And he goes, yeah. And I was like, okay, I'll get you that story, but I got to get all this stuff up, you know, and all that. And it was already late. Our group went over by probably 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was 8:20 when we got over.
So, you know, hopefully they come back. I think they will. They all seem to really enjoy it. I know the one in our small group really did. He actually messaged me and said he was looking forward to getting to know everybody and all that. So that was super awesome. I went to the gym.
He went to the gym for the first time in 5 months yesterday.
And this morning.
Well, I'm saying you went for the first time yesterday, and he also went this morning. So we got up. Well, he got up at 6:10. I got up at 5 o'clock. But funny story, I woke up at 2:30 this morning, and I know it was right at 2:30 because I checked my phone, but I didn't think about it when I checked my phone. And so I got up. I was like, man, I already got to get up. This stinks. Because I was going to get up early to go to the gym with Grayson. And I walked out into my living room.
At 2:30?
At 2:30. Because I was like, I looked and saw that it was 2:30, but I didn't realize it was like, that it said it was 2:30, you know? I just knew it said it was 2:30. I didn't realize what 2:30 meant or something. I don't know. I was tired. But I got up and I took my dog out, let my dog out, and then I went over to the kitchen to start getting my breakfast ready. And I specifically remember, like, we have lemon Oreo Thins up in our cabinet. I remember getting those out. I was like, where's my phone? I went and got my phone and looked at the time. I was like, why am I up? I swear I got up and I turned the alarm off. And like the alarms woke me up. So I was for sure I was supposed to get up. Well, then I went back later today and looked at my phone, and there was no alarm for 2:30. I looked to see if I had any missed calls. No. I looked to see if I had answered a call. No.
Did you eat a lemon Oreo Thin?
Ate two. Ate two, and I was like, I'm going back to bed. Like, I don't got to be up till 5.
That's
and
funny.
so I got Scooby, my dog, and I had to like, Scooby, we're going back to bed. And so he came with me back to bed, and then I woke up at 5, and I was much more tired at 5 than I was at 2:30.
I was up at 5 as well. I would say I was helping change my kid's diaper. My wife was definitely changing the kid's diaper.
Or you just giving her support, like just being up for her.
I laid my hand on my kid's chest.
Yeah.
While she did everything. Granted, I had to be up in an hour. She didn't. But
what time did she get up?
I got home from the gym and she was still asleep.
So 7:30.
So 7:35, I walked in there again, and she was up and getting dressed, and I was impressed. I was thinking I'd have to walk back in there and be like, "Come on."
Yeah.
And she was up and pretty much dressed, which
Wow.
is good for her. Most of the time, it's like, get out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like that early, you know.
Yeah, I know. Like she had to be here at 8, and so we were on our way back from the gym, and he told me she wasn't awake, and I was looking at my clock, and I was like, "Oh, I don't think she's gonna make it."
We made it. We were actually the first interns here.
Man.
Yep, we got here at 57,
Mm.
7:57.
I want to talk about something very interesting.
Oh no,
It's
I gotta
about
go to the
yesterday.
bathroom, hurry up.
Okay, it's about yesterday. When we were on our way back, I guess home from the gym. Yeah.
I don't remember.
But I think it was when we were going to the gym and as well as when we were on our way home. I installed a aftermarket like in-dash stereo.
Yeah.
And it's got a clock on it.
Oh,
But the clock isn't synced to anything. It's just a clock that runs off of like when it's on.
it's definitely synced to the wrong time.
It's not synced to any time. I change it all the time and it doesn't stay. So the clock is of course always wrong.
And my wife called me after the gym,
Yeah.
and I did not lie, but she just said it's been 2 hours, and I did not tell her. Well, that's because we went to Chick-fil-A after. I just said, yeah, well, we're on the way home.
Yeah.
And I was like, it has not been 2 hours, because I looked at his clock.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's been an hour and 12 minutes. And I looked at him like, we were only gone an hour and 12 minutes. And
that's when he found out that my clock is wrong.
yeah, so I was like, oh.
So I also have the way it happened. I just had to move my thing down where it actually showed the time, and so I have the actual time, but the top bit of it is cut off. So it's always confusing if it's 4 or 9. But usually if it's 4, I can tell it's 4, and if it's 9, I can tell it's 9. But if it's like a 4:34 or 4:39, then I can't tell. Those 5 minutes, my life.
Hey, you could be going 5 minutes
depends on
early
those
or
5
5 minutes
minutes.
late.
I know. It depends. It fully depends on the 5 minutes, especially in like the 30 minute mark.
I hope to have a guest next week. Won't say any names.
Really?
Yeah, we talked to him yesterday, and he said let us know. But I don't think he was being serious. But it'd be a crazy story if the man...
I remember, but I can't put a face to the name.
The man wanted to do it,
Yeah.
So we'll see. He's a busy guy.
Yeah, very busy guy, especially if his intern ain't here on Mondays.
Not that man. The man.
No, I'll have to talk to you later.
I'm confused. We love y'all. We will see you next week for another episode. We're on the road to 150 subscribers, probably. We have almost 140. Yep. So let's get there.
Yep.
Like, subscribe, share, follow.
Comment. If you have a shirt design, comment that. A shirt idea design.
I'll use it. I'll redo it.
Yeah.
Like,
or if you just have like a typed out little thing you want the shirt to have.
Yeah. Pray for us. Like, in a comment.
Please. Of course, I need it. I rambled so much today. The only drug I'm on is caffeine.
Pray for his addiction to chapstick.
Yes. Something we haven't talked about
that was
yet.
not this. Next week, we will be talking about Tyke's addiction.
Yep.
So
you better come back or else you'll never know.
Love y'all. Peace out.
Peace.